A live-action He-Man and the Masters of the Universe has been in some stage of development for nigh on 20 years now, so will Amazon succeed where Fox, Warner, Sony and Netflix all failed, and actually get it made? And more than that, will they do it right, or are we looking at the next rings of power here? Let's find out. This video is sponsored by Factor. After imploding at Netflix, in no small part due to the failure of Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe revelation, Amazon and the film studio under their ownership, MGM, were next to pick up the long-in-gestation project, and they appear to be moving aggressively ahead, giving the project both a release date and a director. Is that a cause for celebration though, or for concern? We're about to see. But first, let me tell you about Factor. Factor makes meeting your nutrition goals easier than ever by delivering fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals crafted by their team of gourmet chefs right to your doorstep. You can choose from a weekly menu of 35 options, including Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, or Vegan and Veggie, among many others. Also, discover more than 60 add-ons every week, like breakfast, on-the-go lunch, snacks and beverages to help you stay fueled and feel good all day long. With Factor, the hassle of prepping and cooking your own meals, let alone cleaning up, is eliminated. Factor provides you with chef-prepared meals on the table in just 2 minutes. Just heat and savor the good stuff, so you can get back to doing what you love this spring. And when things get hectic, Factor is flexible. You can change your order up every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals per week, or pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. In other words, it's perfect for anyone who wants to eat well, but who doesn't have the time or inclination to make the meals from the ground up. And I know someone just like that. Tom, this is where you come in.
Well, Factor is perfect for me because as a single guy, I don't have to go through the hassle of not only going to the store and prepping all the ingredients and the mess that goes along with it, but I always seem to throw out more food than I actually eat. So Factor is perfect for me. No cleanup involved, and within 20 minutes, I'm eating a fresh meal right from the oven or in 2 minutes from the microwave. And since I have special dietary needs, Factor makes that a lot easier as well.
So, what are you waiting for? Get started today and fuel up for your springtime goals. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code MIDNIGHTS50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. That's code MIDNIGHTS50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. With that, let's return to the topic at hand. Let's begin with the release date and director, about which Variety writes, "The long-awaited live-action Masters of the Universe movie is one step closer to becoming a reality, with Amazon, MGM Studios and Mattel Films dating the project for worldwide theatrical release on June 5th of 2026. So 2 years from now, that gives them plenty time to finish up the script, cast and plan the shoot, actually shoot, and get it ready for release. Travis Knight, known for Kubo and the Two Strings and Bumblebee, is on board to direct the film adaptation of the popular franchise. Let's stop right there, because of all directors ever to be formally signed on to direct some iteration of this movie over the past 20 years, Travis Knight is, without a shred of doubt, the most suitable one, and I say that because of Bumblebee. Bumblebee was a movie I personally wrote off the moment it was announced, but I went to see it anyway, and much to my surprise, it was the best of the Transformers movies bar none. In it, he showed that he can do genuine and heartfelt storytelling, as the movie is fundamentally about a grieving girl who is aching over the premature death of her father. But in the process, Travis Knight also demonstrated that he respects franchise lore and iconography. He won a lot of goodwill with that movie, and that is something that this movie is going to need in spades, because the big challenge here is going to be the story and the take on the material, which may predate the director. Moving on to the writers, Variety continues, with Chris Butler writing the screenplay, following initial drafts written by David Callahan and Adam Nee. I sincerely hope that Chris Butler is doing a page 1 rewrite and that they won't be following the previous script from David Callahan and the Nee brothers too closely, because it was their script that first failed at Sony and then at Netflix. Alas, unless that page 1 rewrite isn't done yet, it would appear that they are indeed using that basic story, because next in the article comes a retelling of the synopsis for the iteration of the movie which failed at both Sony and Netflix. And to me, that is a red flag. Variety recounts the story, writing, according to its official synopsis, Masters of the Universe introduces a 10-year-old Prince Adam, who crashed to Earth in a spaceship and was separated from his magical power sword, the only link to his home on Eternia. After tracking it down almost 2 decades later, the synopsis explains, Prince Adam is whisked back across space to defend his home planet against the evil forces of Skeletor. But to defeat such a powerful villain, Prince Adam will first need to uncover the mysteries of his past and become He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. To a fan like myself, that plot synopsis honestly sucks to high heavens, because it describes a fish-out-of-water story, where the entire first movie is going to be spent on learning basic stuff about He-Man and his world that the fans already know, and that by rights He-Man should know as well. That suggests the first movie will be wasted exploring a backstory that the cartoon dispensed with in the intro alone, meaning we won't get a proper He-Man adventure until the sequel, if there is one. He-Man is no outsider to his own world, but for some weird reason, Hollywood seems intent on doing this to Mattel properties. You'll note they did this with the other major Mattel character, Barbie, as well. Last year's Barbie was also a fish-out-of-water story, where Barbie leaves Barbie world only to be perplexed by our world, or patriarchy world, which is how it was portrayed. And it's not the first time this happens to He-Man either. Consider the 1987 movie starring Dolph Lundgren. There, He-Man was sent to Earth, where he and his crew were trapped on what to them was an alien world, filled with weird primitives, screwheads and other slackers who, to Tila's horror, eats meat.
You mean this used to be an animal?
Mm-hmm.
What a barbaric world.
Never think while you're hungry.
I think we've wasted enough time.
Of course, what the Nee brothers were developing first at Sony, then at Netflix, and which now appears to continue at Amazon and MGM, is the inversion of what happened in the '87 movie. And you should, by the way, catch our retrospective of it. I promise it is the most comprehensive documentary about it made to date. But that aside, in the '87 movie, He-Man was an Eternian perplexed by Earth, while in this upcoming version, he will have grown up on Earth, and so culturally be an Earthling, and therefore a stranger to the ways of Eternia. I get that way, we the audience get to be introduced to Eternia through the eyes of a fellow Earthling, but I do feel the property would have been better served if they had just taken the route of Star Wars. By which I mean, we get a peek into a story that is already in progress in another place and another time, and everyone in it is native to that world, so just treat it as a given and move on with the story. I still hold out hope that the official synopsis might change before the cameras roll though. The far bigger problem, at least potentially, is the fact that this is coming from Amazon. Now, to be fair and in their favor, Amazon just knocked it out of the park with Fallout. But also, to be fair, that had more to do with the writing talent of Jonathan Nolan and his team than anyone at Amazon, who were just along for the ride. But, insofar as we know, they didn't interfere too much creatively, because when Amazon does interfere, nothing good comes of it. That's when custodes in Warhammer suddenly retroactively were always female, in blatant contradiction with established lore, to the disgust of both Henry Cavill and all other Warhammer fans around the world. That's when Middle-earth suddenly gets the diversity of contemporary London or LA, and that's when the Wheel of Time becomes overtly misandrist in its feminist makeover. And all of this happens because Amazon has a DEI quota, which says that some of its output, like the aforementioned, must be utterly ruined on the altar of intersectionality. But on the flip side, that is why the likes of the Terminalist and Reacher are allowed to be good, because the quota was already met with those bigger productions. That, of course, invites the question to which we do not yet know the answer, namely, will Masters of the Universe be ruined in the name of DEI, like the Lords of the Rings of Power, and the Wheel of Time? Or will the filmmakers be allowed to make the best product possible, like Reacher and the Terminalist? Or, and this is the third option, could it be that the filmmakers will be able to pull a Fallout and make the diversity and inclusion so natural and organic that we on the outside can't tell if the production was subjected to quotas or if that was the filmmaker's genuine intent all along? Here's to hoping for one of the latter two. I would hate it if, after 20 years of development, He-Man ends up heading down the same path of predictable disaster as the Rings of Power. We'll keep you up to date as we learn more. For now, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and before you go, head on over to factor75.com or click the link below and use code MIDNIGHTS50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your month of orders. That's code MIDNIGHTS50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next month of orders.